Hello, friends. Welcome back to Value Vintage Cards. Going to do a quick share. A couple of items I've been posting about, and you may have seen like actual like posts, but no videos. So I figured I'd actually document these a little bit more detail and hopefully zoom in and make them nice and clear. But one was from a show, so got to attend the Chantilly show for the first time and meet up with Mark from Mark's Dodgers Cards. So that was awesome to get to kind of connect in person and walk a show together and just kind of see the similarities in what we look for, but also the uniqueness in how we both collect a little bit different, which is it's a lot of fun. That's really kind of the neat engagement of the community. Having a friend that you can kind of share a lot in your interests, but also we have our very unique little niche of what we look for. So it's a lot of fun. And then one item was just a random eBay kind of find. I think it's a little bit tougher item and kind of a neat one. And then another pair from a set that I've been sort of slowly working on. So let's dive in and take a look. All right, friends, let's jump in here. So this is a 1961 Jay's Publishing. Well, he does have a 1960 tops. Carl Yastrzemski really probably should have had 61 being his rookie issue. So, to the best of my knowledge, this is the first Jay's Publishing item, which, if you collect like I do, oversized, Manny's Land, cons, food issue kind of stuff, and Jay's Publishing are all just interesting for this era. So, it gives us an alternative item and gives us something that's oversized with kind of a unique image, which is always awesome. So I saw this 61 Yastrzemski, and Jays are interesting because sometimes they're like a year range, so you get a 2 or 3 year span. And other times they try to attribute them to an actual like 1 year issue. So I'm still learning. I'm still trying to decipher the accuracy and the credibility of that because I feel like sometimes we trust it, and then 5 years later we realize like, oh, the year was wrong, or the year range was incorrect, or maybe it expands another year out. So definitely an early career, definitely a unique image, and something with me trying to add to my Yastrzemski collection that I thought was a cool pickup. So these are blank back. So if you're not as familiar with Jay's Publishing, they are just essentially photos. So thought that was a fun one. Next is one I just shared because he just had a birthday. I think the color on this is just striking and phenomenal. So, Mordecai Brown, this is a 1916 Ferguson Bakery. It's my first Mordecai Brown from this set. I'm really working on tracking down some of the players I collected in that set. The issue is fairly huge. There's a lot of players available. So if you're looking for team collecting or player collecting, you could have some work to do on either end. So it's not a matter of finding the Mordecai Brown. It's a matter of finding the Mordecai Brown in every color possible. And his just don't seem to be out there. I've only seen one sell that I missed out on. So when this one popped up, I went aggressively and reached out to the seller and let him know I'm definitely a collector. I'm not a dealer trying to flip and make a few bucks. I'm somebody that's going to hold on to this forever. So fortunately, he accepted my offer, and it is now mine. But look at that color. To me, that is just so phenomenal. It's up against the black. I feel like you can kind of tell it's a little more of a deep navy. It almost starts to look purple in the right lights. It's definitely intense. The image of him is the exact same as you're going to see on the M101 -4-5s. That's how they're issued. So I believe every single player has the exact same image. When you take a look at that portion, that would be what the card would look like. But just the design, the trophies, way his name is presented, the color. A couple of folks commented and said, they really liked it up against the tux look. I agree. It looks nice with the case surrounding it. Can't argue that. I think it is a nice complementary piece to colors of the pennants. However, in my move to the ungraded world, there is something really cool about being able to actually take that out and hold that. This is another somewhat recent addition. It's my second Eddie Collins. So what you can end up doing here is, much like modern, you can go for the rainbow. So you can try and find all the different colors that are available. Again, super, just neat image. I love that this is the era for Collins where he's with the White Sox. So as you get a little bit closer in on this thing, his jersey, let's hold this up. The image of him is actually pretty darn nice on this one. A lot of times with these pennants, because they are so soft and the photo itself has obviously a little more rigidity to it, sometimes you'll see these cracked or they'll have lines to them. Sometimes they're pretty roughed up, but this one, just it's really close. How cool that is to see that Sox jersey and even its glove. Oh, I love that. What else? I was hoping this would kind of show through. Can tell whether that's like adhesive or just so thin. I'm not really too sure how these are, constructed. But right there is the image. I feel like you can almost start to see it through the thin remaining structure of the pennant. So if you've not taken the jump into these, 1916 Ferguson Bakery. Sometimes you just search for like BF2. That's the designation. But they are felt pennants. I have no problem with them being ungraded. I don't know that there's a whole lot of these floating around there that are counterfeit or not real. But I think for my liking, I really enjoy being able to actually hold them and appreciate what they are for being 109 years old now. And then the last thing was what I picked up at the Chantilly show, which I have not formally presented. This I picked up from a dealer that I will say I was a little surprised that I was able to make a deal. I think he's got an amazing array of cards. He usually, probably because of what he has, is able to ask a premium on a lot of things. So he was a little higher than I would have liked, and I think a lot of times dealers have just a touch of room in what they price, and I got him just a little lower than that, which I think got it into a nice fair bargain kind of range. So there's a 38 Gaudy Hank Greenberg. This has been on my shopping list for a while. I really wanted the with scribbles. If you look out there on eBay or auction houses, wherever, population reports don't really say there's a huge difference, but in terms of what's really available in the marketplace, it seems the with scribbles is far more challenging to find. And I would also say that these tend to go for a little bit of a premium over the non-scribbled issues. So, yeah, I will say I was extremely happy with this. Some of them, because obviously I'm looking at lower grade scenarios in most cases, a lot of them will have issues with reading the writing, or they'll have issues with the back. This one has a very clean back as well. To the best of my eye, I don't see any creases on this thing either. So it is a 2, and it is a fair 2. The corners are exactly I mean, I think they're very generous. Sent this to some friends. They said that looks like a 3 or 4, 3.5, something like that. And it does in most ways. And if you've never really gotten this close and personal with these, this is why the scribbles are so cool. You just get to really appreciate. It plays a classy first bag. I think it's awesome. The image of his face. Super cool. So, what looks like a bad reflection over the Greenberg is actually some type of either addition to or paper loss or something. I mean, I can still read the whole Greenberg, so I almost think there's like maybe a residue on there. Like that EN area, there's just a little something going on with his name. But that's it. I mean, that takes it from being a pretty phenomenal, for me, that'd be a high grade card. So if you're going to mess it up, keep the scribbles clean, keep it crease free. The image of him is phenomenal. Just a little bit of something added to his name, but it almost looks like a glare whenever I send a picture. And folks look at it and say, "What's wrong with that card?" Yeah, it's not a glare. It's actually on the card. So kind of crazy, but I will take it. For me, that's the perfect way to present this card in my world. I love that I can get the main part of the card being the scribbles and his image are just crystal clear and way nicer presentation than I was expecting to be able to find for this card. So super thrilled to have it. 38 Gaudy Hank Greenberg checked off the list, and yeah, that was a amazing show. Great to hang out with Mark. Great to just walk and see a lot of familiar dealers. Ash and Stan and Chapel and Howard were all there. Met a couple of their good vintage dealers. One is actually somewhat local to where I live, so probably connect with him in between shows and just see what all he's got. He's got a couple things I'm interested in now, so we shall see. But that is my 4 of my more recent pickups and little recap of the show. I'll catch up with you all on the next video. Take care.